All right, good morning, everyone. It is a breezy 72 degrees here. It is 10:01 here in Austin, Texas, especially here on the hilltop. My name is Josh Hankin, and today I can't tell you how excited I am for this. This is something that we'll get into a little bit later on, but as I worked at South by, for people who don't know, and I was privileged enough to get a platinum pass and just go all around the festival. And well, I accidentally made the best thing of my life watching Penelope Isles. Today we're joined with Lily Walter of Penelope Isles. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
I just can't even deal with how adorable you are. Like, it doesn't get much cuter, does it? You're so sweet.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's so surreal having you guys here. It's just like holy shit. Like, sorry for my. And by the way, I don't care if you go off on you cuss or anything, but it's it's kind of like oh, like I don't know. You see these people on stage just jamming out, having a good time, and you're just like, damn, I want to be like them and everything. So it's
Oh
really fun
man.
and
Well, I'm gonna be thinking that when you're in a nice white doctor's coat in about 6 years' time, helping people
hopefully
out, and I'll be like, God, I want to be like that guy.
you'd be like just jamming out, right? That's also a thing I think a lot of people know is that I've worked in the emergency room and we always have music playing. I mean, obviously it's not
Really?
loud to the point where we can't hear stuff going on, but we have like on the little computers playing, and usually
Yeah.
I'll start playing some music there for myself just to like chill out because sometimes it can get really hectic. So sometimes just listening to some stuff can always help. So I can't wait one day just to be jamming out to Penelope Isles on my computer while doing some work.
Oh
So
my God. I know that you'll have your hands full, but you're gonna have to do an Instagram story of that when that happens and tag me
I
in it.
will. I'll just be there holding my phone on the side, just be like, just jamming out,
Yeah.
bobbing my head and everything.
One hand, open heart surgery, other hand, Insta story.
There you go. So it'd be pretty interesting, but yeah, like I said, thanks for joining us. It's an honor just to have you guys, whatnot. So yeah, I guess before we start, how's the weather over there in the UK with you guys?
Well, do you know what? The sun is just it's peeping through my window and it's shining on my face. I'm sort of like doing my best to sort of absorb as much as possible. But I don't know if I've actually always wanted to know this. Maybe you'll know the answer. If you can sort of like absorb vitamin D through glass, can you?
Yeah,
Do you
you
know?
can. I think
You
direct
can.
sunlight. Yeah.
I suppose like greenhouses. That's why greenhouses are a thing, I guess. But basically, I've been sat in a van for 5 days touring around France, and I've come home for one day, so my one day off, and I'm just like trying to get a bit of like health in me.
Right
So
on.
had
Yeah.
some nice sushi before, and now I'm sitting with basking in the sun, chatting to you.
Right on. Yeah, and I mean it's not to say that you I've looked at the schedule kind of, before these interviews, you kind of have to scout around, make sure you know what you're talking about. And I see we'll talk a little bit later on. You've just recently again came off of South by doing this whole tour going around I believe the US. And now you're here, back at the States for you guys, and it's just like you guys are still going at it. And I don't think it ends to almost what, September-ish, give or take.
Yeah, man. Yeah, September, end of September is when it stops.
There you go. So you have a long road ahead of you, but a lot of shows to have to, hype people up. Again, for me, again, it
Yeah.
was something that I didn't expect, but it was just amazing. Especially you
Oh,
killed it with, what was that instrument? I'm so silly for not knowing that instrument where you had the little,
it's a little glockenspiel.
yeah, you were just going at it. You were going, in fact, I have a video which I'll actually send to you, where you're at South by at the British Music Embassy, and Jack is going off. He's just like jamming, and you're there just like going at it on the the keyboard and whatnot. And
Yeah.
I don't know what instrument it was or what device it was, but it fell on the ground. And
Oh yeah, it did. That was my I had a little do you know what? I love touring in America, but you guys, your plug sockets are just fucking oh, I can't swear.
no, you
Sorry.
can, you can, you're totally good.
Your plug sockets are fucking shit. Just saying. They are rubbish. Like, and basically, my what happened was I had a little SP404 sampler, and it basically fell off in the heat of the moment and knocked literally just like knocked two plugs out. So I had went from having three keyboards to one keyboard. So I basically just sort of like rocked it on the glockenspiel a bit more, because that was the only sort of thing that seemed to be working. um but yeah, not ideal, but kind of pretty punk, I guess.
What, dude? It was fucking awesome. Just seeing that, I was just like, again, you saw that fall and you were still going at it, and I'm like, damn, these people are just like straight up like amazing. You could just went for it. So like then there's so much to discuss on this thing, and I'm just again super
Oh,
excited. So, how about we
oh,
do? How about we go ahead and get into it, shall we?
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Hit
All
me.
right. So, how did it start for the band Penelope Isles, specifically for you guys?
Well, so the band's me and my brother, and we're 6 years apart. And we started the band. Actually, I originally started the band about 7 years ago, I reckon. I moved to Brighton from the Isle of Man, which is where Jack and I are from, which is a little island like next to Liverpool in England. And it's super just like remote. Nothing really happens there. Really tiny. And I moved to Brighton in the UK and started a band. And we were originally called Kooky Lou, which is my solo project. And then my brother moved to Brighton and joined Kooky Lou, and we sort of gave it a makeover and made it more of an equal thing. And it became Penelope Isles. And Penelope is the name of our mum, and because we're from the Isle of Man, it's like, which is part of the British Isles. It was Penelope Isles. Sort of summed us up quite well. And yeah, that's how it's happened. And we've had quite a few different members come in and out over the years. And since South by, we've changed it up again, and now we're on tour with a new bass player and a new sound engineer. So yeah.
Right on, right on. So, specifically for you, or maybe you can talk on behalf of the band, or rather you and your brother. Was there anyone who inspired you to possibly get into the music scene?
For sure. I mean, my brother, because he's 6 years older than me, like, he was obviously quite a big influence. And he went to university and studied art, but where he went, it was this really little town in Cornwall in England, which is right at the bottom. It's like very like lots of like amazing surfing and like fishing, and it's countryside basically. But there's this little town, university town called Falmouth, and there was this insanely cool music scene happening there. It's tiny, this town. About like 10 years ago now, maybe 9, 10 years ago, when they all went to uni, and there was probably about five or six unbelievable bands. And I was probably about 15, 16 at the time. And those bands, I was already playing music. I was playing like classical music. I was playing like in orchestras, like I play saxophone and the harp and stuff. I was more classical and jazz. And then like my brother met these friends and these bands, and they just was like, they were so unbelievably inspiring for me as like a 15-year-old. And that's what made me want to be in a band. Yeah, for sure.
Right on. That sounds like a good story for there. I mean, I think
Mm.
everyone personally, has a different come up when it comes to music. I know some people said that they've seen it simply because they've just grown up with it. But it's interesting how it directly affected you. Someone you saw that and you realize like, oh crap, this is something that I really want to do as well. So it's interesting how, I mean, I guess for me, interviewing all these people, how different everyone is. And we'll get into a little bit later on, but I'll mention it briefly. I've always had this thing where this stigma, unfortunately, which now it's kind of already gone away, where musicians are just kind of focused on one thing is music in their life, and I don't think that's necessarily true, or rather, they have the same mindset because it's not. I've had other people where some musicians were like, I live, breathe, and love music, and some are like, no, I wish I would have never gotten in it. So it's interesting how you see different perspectives within the music scene, especially varying from different artists as well. So I think that's a very interesting point you brought up as well. Um,
Yeah, and that's so it is different for everyone, and like things like privilege as well. Some people are more privileged than others, and are born into money and can, money is such a thing, and it costs so much, like what we do, and if you don't have like the financial backing, like unless like it's like a sort of freak, like you've been scouted by like someone that wants to like take you to the top, like in those sort of like freak incidences, it's a hard slog, and I don't blame a lot of people for falling out of love with it, to be honest.
yeah. Well, right on. Well, just kind of
Sorry, that was
I
a really
guess.
depressing thing to say,
Oh
wasn't
no,
it?
no, no, but it's realistic though. It's very realistic. I don't think, and I will get more into it a little bit, but I will bring up this example that I brought up. I believe the person, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry, but the guy from Old Country New Roads, or is
Black Country New Road.
yes, 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 yes. The main singer had left due to mental health issues because it wasn't for him. Not that
Wow,
he
I
was
didn't know that.
very, yeah, I believe his name was Isaac. He left
Yeah,
because his mental health, he wasn't feeling right when going on tour singing, and he didn't feel comfortable, and he publicly announced it. So it's interesting how, like you mentioned, it's the whole privilege, taking care of yourself, but also the financial thing about it. It's extremely important to take these, things, but also the more important thing is to take care of yourself as a musician, as a person, to make yourself, especially yourself and Jack, who are touring literally almost nonstop, give or take till September. It's important to
yeah,
have a good, headspace, go into everything very, with the healthy mentality.
for
And I think that's something
sure.
that really needs to be discussed within a lot of artists. And
Man,
unfortunately,
you're
some.
so right. You're so right. And I literally like just come from another meeting with our managers where we've been talking about that exact thing. And, we were literally saying before COVID, like we toured so much. Like we were doing over 100 gigs a year, easy. Like we were constantly on the road, and we kind of like took pride in ourselves. We were like we were like kind of proud of that. It's an impressive thing to do. We were one of the most touring bands in the country. It was like us, band called Fontaines DC. Um, like we worked so hard. Both of us were touring at every festival, all the time. And I think now that we start getting back into it again after COVID, we're finding it hard, like it's hard work, especially as well because like my brother, he TMs as well as does the gigs and drives, so he works twice as hard as everyone else. And I think we've been talking about it, and he's kind of been admitting to me that it's tough, and like, but really, like, we were kind of saying that like it's a good thing that you're realizing that about yourself, because you're realizing your worth, and you're realizing what you need, your needs, and you're giving yourself some boundaries, because it's it's not right for you to be like waking up at 5 a.m, driving everyone 6 hours, and then unloading at 4 o'clock, sound checking, eating a pizza, and then playing a gig, and then having a few drinks, and then going to bed at 1 in the morning, and then doing it all again the next day for like a month. Like it's just completely, that's going to damage anyone's mental health after a while. So yeah, I think we are really sort of trying to channel in on like what we need and what's good for us at the moment. COVID's definitely taught us that.
No, definitely, and I think to that point, personally working in the hospital and working at the EMS, there's a lot of people who come in, unfortunately, with their mental health very low, and
Oh,
I wouldn't necessarily say it's simple because it's me privileged enough to say that I have a supporting background, people who love and care for me,
yeah,
um, but there's some people who don't have that, and the thing is, and I've learned too, is that speak what's going on in your mind. And I think I've always said it, and I've been a huge advocate for mental health, especially because me growing up, my dad being sick all the time, even to this day, it's kind of instinct that I wake up like around 3 or 4 in the morning. Usually I would do that just to make sure my dad's okay, he's awake, he's
Wow.
alive. And it hurts because it's like a lot of people, well, not a lot of people don't know, but it's just much more that you have to take care of yourself at the same time. And again, going back to the whole idea of working in the hospitals, you go there and you see all these people who are just, unfortunately, just kind of at that, like, you know what, kind of done in their life moment thing. And it sucks because it's like,
Mhm.
you know, we need, as humans, we have feelings. And I think also where I was born, it was more that it's very conservative in the sense where they kind of tell the guys, man up, grow some balls, don't cry and everything. But I think it's totally normal now because it's like, you know what? We are humans, we have feelings, we need to express them. Always, if something's on your mind, talk to someone. There's always someone that's going to be there for you. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand or don't know rather. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of resources that people can use to get help for sure. And I'm glad, you guys, hopefully you guys are in a good headspace. Talking to each other is always a great thing. I'm always, that's something that's
Oh,
extremely important.
it's amazing, like just chatting to you as well, like right now, because did you say you're 22, right?
Correct, yes.
Like just speaking to like our new crew, our band and our crew, like within the past week, changed it up, and we have a really young crew now. Like, most of the band, they're like 22, 23, 24, and like it's such a calm, like relaxed atmosphere to and such a kind collection of people, and everyone's really communicative and has their boundaries and says what they need and stuff like that. And it's amazing because like we're essentially like a bunch of kids, especially like the younger ones. Like one's 20, our bass player, she's about to turn 22 tomorrow. She's 21 years old. And like it's almost like way more mature and grounding than it's ever been, with like older people in the band. And like it's the new generation, like it's the new generation that has sort of been brought up, which is great because we're seeing change, like we're seeing the change happening, and that's a really positive thing, isn't it?
No, definitely. So,
And you're
I
proving that right now, man.
of course, definitely, I think that's something that we have to change. Without getting too far into this, but I just genuinely think that the way things were back then kind of need to change now. We live in a new era. We live in it with new people, and it's important to realize that, especially as a white male, a white straight guy, it's like I have so much privilege over anyone, and it's
Yeah.
it's extremely saddening. So that's why I try to share my platform with everyone I can, especially here on campus. I try to go ahead and make sure that the people's voices that aren't heard can be heard. And it's something that I take to heart. So hopefully, if anyone's
Oh,
listening right now, perhaps you're in that situation. Ask for help. If not, be the change. It's important to always have that mentality of wanting to improve and do better. And I think that's something that
oh,
also for the headspace, also make sure that you're in a good headspace. Ask for help if that's the case you need. So that's extremely important.
hell yeah.
But
Josh for president, I reckon.
dude, yes, our president's right now. God, Jesus, um, it's terrible. We just got out of Trump and now Biden, which, dear Lord, I mean, as someone who's a liberal, who's a leftist, it's people like Biden. It's Trump, but literally more toned and everything. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah. Anyways, what are some things you like to do outside of music, hobbies, sports, attending events? I know that you have a tattoo thing going on where you help people get it set up for tattoo. So how's all that going for you?
Yeah, man, it's good. Like I'm a hand poke tattoo artist here in Brighton. My tattoo sort of name is Inca Rainbow. Um I have a little Instagram page if anyone wants to check it out. And Yeah, it's good, man. Like, I'm away so much at the moment, so I don't get to do that much of it. But when I do, I'm finally sort of starting to like really sink into my style and the kind of type of tattooing that I really enjoy most, which is sort of more sort of like light shading work, and is almost a little bit more realistic and almost like something that you'd find in a really old storybook. Like I much prefer doing that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, it's cool. It's nice to have something to fall back on. Yeah, maybe I'll come to Austin someday and do some tattoos over there.
No, you know what? I'll say it right now. I'll say it right now live. I've never gotten a tattoo ever, but if you're in Austin, I'm willing to get you. You can be the first person that does that.
Oh, oh, heard it here first, peeps.
So there you go, right? So whenever you're in
Right.
Austin, just say, "Hey, Josh, I'm here. Let's do that." And I'm like, "All right, let's get to it," and
What do you want to
everything.
get?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. At first, because I'm a huge music person.
Yeah.
At first, I was gonna go ahead and get something with the Idols band on there, but
Ooh.
then I'm like, you know what? Like, I like the idea, but I don't know what to get. And then I'm like, well, you know what? I want to get something that maybe means something, but I don't know. There's so much
Yeah,
stuff into that, and I guess it's something that I realize that it's like it's permanent. So I want something that's gonna mean something, kind of
sure.
show a story. But
Whatever you get will mean something to you, even if it's something stupid like a paperclip or whatever. Like it will mean something to you, even just to represent the time you got it, like getting your first tattoo. Like it's a cool thing. Like a lot of the time, people's first tattoos, they don't even look at it like what they've got tattooed. Like they look at it like as their first tattoo, as
yeah,
opposed to like what the actual tattoo is.
there was
I've
one I
got
was
a
gonna get.
terrible first tattoo.
You do.
Yeah, it's like a weird little five-legged octopus on my ankle that I got when I was 16 on holiday.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I was actually gonna get one. I was super tempted the other day. By the other day, I mean like a year or two ago. But there was this one where it had like a little dog. It had a dog, and he was just smoking a cigarette. I thought that was so funny and so cute. I was like so tempted to get that, but I was like,
That would be so cute. Let me
yeah,
tattoo a dog smoking a fag on you,
yeah,
definitely.
and I'm all like, should I get that? And I'm thinking about it, and like now I'm like, I still want it, but I'm like, what if I'm older? What if I'm someone
Yeah.
in a profession and they see
Yeah, but
me with,
also you need to remember that when you're older, everyone else is going to be older and everyone else is going to have tattoos as well. Like if you picture old people now, like it's rare they have tattoos or they're covered in tattoos, but when we're old, it's going to be weird if you haven't got tattoos and you're old because everyone's got tattoos now.
yeah, yeah. There you go, right? Fitting with the, yeah. I mean, I think that's awesome, dude. I really, like I said, when you come here, I promise you'll be the first one. If you're ever here in Austin or so, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and grab some in there and do that. But kind of for music, let's just say music wasn't a thing for yourself, for Lily Walter. What would you do? What do you think you would be doing now, perhaps?
Hmm, that's a really interesting question because there's never really been a plan B for me. I think I'd probably be like maybe in the sort of like acting, maybe like something to do with like performance. I don't know if that counts because it's still sort of
No,
performing, but like I'd
in
probably
the
be
arts.
something to do with, yeah, it would have to be something in the arts. Like, well, I think there was one point where I wanted to be an animator. I'm so glad I didn't do that because that is just so time consuming and you have to have so much patience. Um, there was one point when I was really young, when I was in primary school, that's like elementary school for you. I wanted to be an architect. Um, and there was another time where I wanted to make backdrops for theatre. And there was another time where I wanted to play. To be fair, this is still being a musician, but I used to want to play in the pits. You know the pits?
Oh yeah, it's kind of like I think I know what you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something like kind of like in an orchestra, if you would.
Yeah, like an orchestra for like musicals and the theater
Yeah.
and like on the stage,
Hmm.
like the musicians underneath the stage. Like I always thought that was really cool.
That is very cool. But I've never been to. I was in high school. I was in theater, but for theater, I was always in tech. So I would always be in the catwalk doing tech stuff and everything, and so I never got to act at all. I think maybe there's only once or twice I did, which was I got to be one person from the Bee Gees. I forgot. It was terrible. It was
Oh
extra.
my god, really? The Bee Gees are from the Isle of Man, you know?
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, we went ahead. I was one of the Bee Gees. It was terrible. I don't know if you have a party city where you're at or know of, but it's kind of like
What's
a
a
little
party city?
party city. It's not a city. It's just a store that they sell like party stuff. Like like you go in there to buy balloons,
Oh,
stuff.
what? Like this?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they go ahead
I
and
just
that.
bought a load of that for Valentina's birthday tomorrow. Anyway, boring. But yeah, carry on.
No, so we go ahead and the whole. Oh God, I was going off on a tangent now. The part. Oh yeah, what was it? Oh my God.
Party City, Bee Gees.
Oh yeah. So I went there and I was like, you know what? I need to buy a wig because at the time my hair was extremely short compared to of now. Mine was like maybe like very small.
Yeah.
And so I go ahead and I'm there and it's just like, okay, I get the wig and I'm like, I need something, the bell bottom jeans, but they don't sell any more bell bottom jeans here anymore. So I had to go and get one of those elastic ones that had like the bell bottom cut on it. That was, dude, yeah, it was so cringe, but it was so much fun because I was there like dancing and everything. It was all
What were
choreographed.
you doing staying alive?
Yes, I was doing Staying Alive. We were doing. There was a.
How deep is your love? That is a tune.
Let me. I don't know
How
which
deep
one it
is
is.
your love? How deep is
No, no,
your
no, no.
love?
Hold on. Actually,
How
you got me.
deep
You
is
finna got me
your
already doing this. Hold on. Let me.
I really need to
BGs,
know.
right?
Cause
Um.
we're living in a world
Oh,
of
Night Fever is like we should be dancing. Or that one? If that's even one.
night
Yeah,
fever,
we did a
night
couple.
fever.
It was so much fun though. You would have, but it was really cringe. Anyways, point is yes. Um. I agree with the arts. I think that's what a lot of people would do. I noticed that because the whole arts thing is such a it's a fun thing, and I think and I hear me going ranting, but art can mean different things to many other people.
Mm,
In fact, for example, like your music can mean something different to me than compared to you, which I think is a beautiful thing because it's like we have different interpretations of what everything is and what it could be. Just like
mm,
any other art, like when you say you go to an art museum you know some people were like, oh, there's like say there's like this one little dot on a whole canvas. They're like, what does this mean? Does it mean like society as a whole, everyone, or I don't know, individual within everyone feeling lonely? It's a whole thing, and I think that
yeah,
especially with the music you make, it's for me. I personally listen to the instrumentals. The whole singing and everything is amazing, but for me, there's just something that hits home for me specifically when it comes to the instruments itself. And I feel like they tell a story. Each and every single instrument tells a story, and I think that's something that I've actually enjoyed. Where I go back to your music, and I'm listening to each and every single like I'll literally sit there for hours on end analyzing the music, and it's just like every single like when you're hearing the guitar just screech, you kind of think, what does that mean? I know, like, I don't know if that sounds silly or not, but it's an
wow.
interesting thought to have, and that's what
Yeah,
I've
for
always that's why I
sure.
enjoy all. I guess maybe that's why I love music so much because I have different interpretations of what everything means. So
Oh man, that's very cool. And like it makes sense. Like there's a lot of thought that's gone into all of it and a lot of emotion and reason and stuff like that. So it's cool to hear that people like you are like picking that up and knowing it and having your own emotions towards it means a lot to us.
no, of course. So, kind of, moving a little bit forward, obviously, like you mentioned, the whole pandemic, where you before you used to tour almost 100 times a year.
Yeah.
And now, how has, how, if you don't mind, how has the pandemic, impacted you guys as a whole? And how have you tried to overcome that, if that's something you're still maybe doing right now or have already done in the past?
Yeah, we definitely are still trying to overcome it, and I think like it was hard for us, you know. We were like you said touring so much, and then when we just had to stop, like I think we struggled. We had a bit of an identity crisis, slightly, you know, as people, and a lot of people had very awful times, and we were really lucky enough to not lose someone from COVID, but um we like yeah, we definitely struggled. Both of us went through separate like breakups, and we like we're trying to make this new album, and kind of like dealing with it with a lot of like drinking, and feeling real extreme sort of lows. um and then we've come back, and it's hard, and we're like different as people, and maybe a little less resilient, but also, like I was saying before, maybe a little bit more self-aware and boundaried. um yeah, it's a hard it's hard for bands right now. Pandemic, it's I was speaking to my friend Katie today, like my friend Katie, who's Katie J Pearson. I don't know if you know Katie J Pearson, but she also played at South by about 7 times this year, and is a good mate who's based in Bristol. And the way she said it, she was like, she said, we're absolutely grafting for uncertainty, for something that might not even happen. And like she's hit the nail on the head there, because it's like we are like all just putting in everything, and like you don't even know, like you might not be one of the lucky ones to sort of succeed. But I'm not gonna let a little pandemic stop me
And,
from
and let me tell you something. And again, I've always said it. I have always a hunch with the music I do. So I don't know if you know the band Surf Curse at all.
no, I don't know them.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on TikTok, but they have that whole thing. It's like da 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 da, kind of that riff. Anyways, point is, I knew them when they were such a small band, probably like 100,000, and now they're at 8.7 million listeners now. And the point I'm trying to convey now is I know that you guys will pop off. I again, if especially people like you who I didn't even know at all, you guys were just so electrifying. And
Oh my.
I know for a fact that right now, it may, it's you have a pretty huge fan base, but I promise you it's going to be even bigger if you keep the whole dedication. I think that's something that also I've learned as a person myself is, people are going to go ahead and, some people will doubt you, you may doubt yourself, but it's always important to keep your head straight and always tackle these things head on because again, the whole idea was when I was younger, people were like, especially the whole EMT thing. I had to take a state exam, and there were like, some people even doubted me, weirdly enough. But I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and defy the odds, and I did it. And here I am now, in a university talking, and especially even like little achievements like this one right here, where it's like, you shoot and or rather that I'm a huge hockey guy, and I think one of the things that they say is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and it's
Yeah.
it's it's very important to see it like that. And well,
Yes, you're right, man. You're right.
so
You're a very switched on, wise young man, I must say.
thank you. Yeah, and I mean, again, I know you guys are gonna pop off. Trust me now, believe me later.
You
It's something
reckon?
that it's going to happen. I promise you right now. And and you're gonna look back to this conversation and be like, wow, he told us that. And
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll keep going. I'll keep going, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to stay positive at times. That's what I'm trying to
definitely,
say.
but
It is hard, but we love it, and I'm lucky I got my brother. We're very. I don't know if I'd still be doing it if it was just me. To be honest, we really keep each other going.
that's great. It's always the brother sister duo. That's always, and that's what I always thought too. It was so interesting how this band had that dynamic to that, and I thought that's what made it so awesome. I was like, holy cow, this is legit amazing. So, On that, but kind of looking back on previous tours, how has it shaped the music scene for you? The live music scene, and perhaps maybe do you have any stories you'd like to share about that?
What about touring in the UK or?
Around the world. You mean you're now international now?
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, I mean, yeah, I've got lots of stories. Probably a lot of them like that a lot of people wouldn't want me to share on a campus radio to lots of people. But I don't know, man. I mean, like yeah, there's been like really tough times and horrible stories. And there's been a lot of laughter, a lot of fun times, got to go to some really cool places. Um, there was this one particular time before, I think it was 2000, I think it's, yeah, it was 2018, 2019. And we were touring around Europe and we were in Germany and we were touring during the hottest recorded week in Germany ever. And we were in our van, our old van, which had no aircon,
Oh God.
and there was five of us. It was the old team, so it wasn't the band that you saw, but it was me and Jack and our old friends, Sowie and Becky, and my ex-boyfriend Max, who used to do our sound. And we were all of us just in our underwear, just drinking water, like touring through Germany, playing these like weird little gigs in tiny sweaty venues. And at the end of the tour, it was July, and the others, we basically were supposed to be going to Paris for like a press thing, and I always say you can't be good at everything. That's like my sort of like motto at the moment, and I'm really bad at geography, like super bad. Like my direction skills, just like where we're going, like I'm really oblivious to that kind of stuff. And we were driving for hours, and I was like, we stopped off at this petrol station. Like we drove for like a whole day, and the next day we were still driving. And we stopped off at this petrol station, and I went in to get like a water or a cup of tea or something, and came out, and basically all the van was blaring Holiday Madonna, and there was this giant rubber ring in front of the van, and all the band were like out of the van like dancing, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I went over and I looked inside the rubber ring, and there was a little card with my name on it, and it was basically it was a couple of days before my birthday, and I opened this card, and basically it said like, psych, we're not going to Paris. We're going on holiday to the south of France all together for a week, and we've got like a cabin, like, and it's in this like kind of like trashy family holiday place. And we'd actually been driving to the south of France, and I had no idea. And I thought we were going to Paris from Germany. I had no idea. It was all like hot and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, and it was amazing. And then we had to drive another, like we drove for fucking hours and hours and hours, and we eventually got there, and we had this, we were all together, and we were all so excited because we'd just been grafting really hard, for ages on this massive tour. And then finishing up with a holiday was just ideal. And we all went to bed, and we were all like, okay, see you in the morning, like for our holiday day one. And we woke up that next morning, and my brother was like, guys, I've got some news. We've been offered to play Roskilde because Lucy Dacus has dropped out, and Roskilde is in Copenhagen. But it would mean we have to leave the holiday and fly tonight. And we were like, I was in my head, I was like, no, we're not doing it. No, we're on holiday. It's my birthday. No. But then we all chatted about it a lot. We were like, look, this is what we do. This is why we're here. We got to do it. And it was a great slot. And we did it. And we flew. We all got the next early morning flight at like 5 a.m. to Copenhagen, and we flew out and we played a killer festival slot, and then we flew back after 2 days and had one more day of the holiday. So we got one day on holiday.
Right on. So it sounds like the whole musician life is so sporadic and everything, kind of living on edge the whole time. But it sounds,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just me, because I don't know it, but it sounds kind of fun. But I mean,
It's so
it's
fun. It's so fun and so just like it's like relentless, and we're never at home really, and it's hard to sort of like you're in a different bed every night, sometimes like on a floor, sometimes on a sofa, sometimes in the van. It's hard to be healthy, but you meet a lot of amazing people, you see a lot of amazing places, and you do what you love, and it's kind of worth it for like those moments when you're like like people like making someone like feel that way. Like that is like why we do it, like 100%. So I appreciate you being honest with me about your experience.
I've been telling you. Again, I've had the privilege to see you guys, especially at South by, which a lot of people, unfortunately can't get into because it's, it is a little bit pricey for some.
Expensive,
Uh,
man, it's
it
really
is. I
expensive.
was fortunate to get it. I was working at a theater, the Violet Crown in downtown Austin, and we'll actually we'll talk about Austin right now. Actually, for me though, I they gave me a platinum badge because I was a theater manager, and well, that Friday I saw you guys. That was actually the first day. It was literally the closing week of South by, well, the weekend rather, and that was the first day I had off to watch anybody.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, so I had just gotten out of watching Wet Leg,
Nice.
and I had like a couple hours left, and I'm like, you know what? I need to, again, the whole jetpacks was going to be there, and I'm like, well, it's probably going to get packed. So my friend and I, Kyle, were like, we'll just go ahead and skip to the front. So after Buzzards was finished, we pushed our way. I'm literally pushing our way to the front,
Yeah.
and we're finally there. And it was just like and I think you guys posted on Instagram, and I'm there in the front, and I have my hands on the speakers because I just love feeling the vibrations in my fingers.
Oh,
And
oh,
when you guys went up, there was this guy next to me, and he said, "I'm like, who are these people?" And he's like, "Oh, Penelope Isles." And I'm all like, "Are they any good?" And he's all like, "Dude, I literally came all the way from California to see them."
oh,
And so the dude
no,
was right next to me, and I'm like, "Oh,
no
okay."
way, that's so cool.
So the dude, I'm looking at him, I'm like, "Okay, fine, like, I get that."
That's so cool, man. You don't know how much that means to me. Like,
So
really, that's
so no,
amazing.
yeah, so the guy goes, and I'm like, "Okay, well, you know what, like." With me, and I don't want to sound like a jerk or anything, but with me, when new bands, I kind of, I'm not too welcoming of bands. But then
Yeah,
after
yeah,
a while,
yeah,
especially when Jack and you were just going at it, I think it was here. I have to pull it up because I remember that I have it on my notes. I'm a terrible person for not knowing. I'm so sorry. It
cool.
was three, Sailing Still and Sudoku, which were like my top favorite when you guys performed. Especially I believe Sailing Still, where I
Oh,
have the video and I'll share it with you. You guys were and I actually recorded that moment where your instrument fell, one of the devices fell, like I was mentioning, and you guys were just fucking killing it throughout the whole time.
oh,
So it
thanks,
was just
man.
like I've never had that, and and also too, I've never been so quick to go and buy someone's discography so quick. I went online that night of because I didn't get home till almost like 2, 3 in the morning partying, and I shouldn't have drank that much that night. But that's besides the point. I went home and I bought both of the albums you guys
Oh,
had.
thank
So
you.
um, although I
Oh,
don't have them with me, they're back home in South Texas.
yeah.
Um, when I get home, that's the first thing I'm gonna play on the vinyl, on the
Dude,
turntable.
that's so sick. That's so fucking cool, man. Oh,
So,
like,
but
like,
how did Austin treat you? How was it over there for you? I saw you guys were also using the scooters going around downtown and enjoying that.
yeah,
So how was it?
man, we love Austin. Like, we were really lucky because we went a few days early. We went kind of on the Monday, and then we went playing till Wednesday, and then we played Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then we stayed till Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and left Wednesday. So we had quite a lot of time either side to like hang out in Austin. It was really interesting noticing Austin while the festival was on and then staying there, which bands don't normally do, for a few days after, and noticing the difference in the city and just like it was like a different place. Do you know what I mean? It was like so
Yeah.
much more chilled out, especially because it was that tornado as well. So it was kind of like
Oh
the
dear
streets
Lord,
were like
yes.
dead, you know. But it was cool. Like we luckily had like a couple of like friends there who are from Austin or live in Austin that like showed us around, took us to some good barbecue, took us tubing, took us to some cool thrift stores. We went to Pavement and like, you know, just like showed us some good spots. Like the White Horse. Is it the White Horse? That cool sort of like cowboy bar. Um,
I'm not too sure because I've lived here for 2 years now, but I haven't been too far out, quite
well,
honestly.
the White Horse is I think it's called the White Horse. It's called it's like a really cool like proper like cowboy. It's like modern cowboys there and like
You had to buy a cowboy
like
hat and tipper
line
hat and
dancing.
everything.
Yeah, they were all like line dancing and like doing that cool two-step dance thing. And there was a pool table and there was this band on called Ellis Bullard. Like it's this guy called Ellis Bullard who is like an Austin-based like country band who we like just absolutely loved. Like big up Ellis Bullard. I bought his t-shirt and everything.
If you're into that, you should totally check out. There's another one. I don't know if you know who they are. Shaky Graves.
Yeah, She Graves. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
from
yeah. I
Austin
heard
as
She
well.
Graves.
Yeah, he's from Austin as well and whatnot. But yeah, I saw that you also went to like some creek. I was again the whole idea of scouting and everything. You guys went to a whole creek. I believe
Yeah.
you guys went to. Like, there was some beautiful. It was. I think it was. I want to say it was Barden or the St. Edward's Trail. You guys went to.
We didn't go to Barton, but we went to, oh man, I don't know what it was called. It was like, to be fair, it was about like a 50-minute drive.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we went tubing on this like down this massive like horseshoe shaped river that
Mm.
took like 3 hours to like float down, and that was such a fun day. Like we all like brought loads of White Claw with us, and
Oh, right on.
just jumped out and did on the went on the rope swing and stuff. Yeah, it was
Did
cool. Like
you? I know White Claw was actually sponsoring South by, so I don't know if you had a lot there too.
yeah, I took full advantage of that. Yes.
Right on. So
Bring big up, big up White Claw. I absolutely love it.
I'm not one to like White Claw. I'm more of like I'm more of like a vodka soda people. That type of I like it a little bit strong, but not too much. I like that one, or I don't know if you tried Pink Whitney's before. It's like a New Amsterdam. It's like a pink lemonade. Amazing. If you put that with like Minute Maid, pink lemonade.
No, but you need to take me out in Austin on a night out when we're
Dude,
next there, and then you can
when
just
you're
show me
there,
all
let
the
me
drinks.
know. I
I
will.
will.
It's on the house. I'll make sure. But like everyone,
Who
you know
knows?
who these
Maybe,
people are, and
and they'll be like, no.
they'll be like, "Well,
I
you
don't
should. Shame on you."
know. Maybe next year South by. Hopefully maybe we'll get to come back next year.
And you guys are reoccurring. I believe you guys did it in 2021 online, correct?
Yeah, and we played it in real life in 2019 as well.
There you go. So the chances of you guys coming back are pretty high, especially
Yeah.
so. Hopefully, we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but future projects for that in that case. But you know, as of right now, how does the song come into existence? Not talking about your music now. How does the song come into existence for your band? Is there any stories you'd like to tell within those songs, or is it just something that just comes out, sporadically?
Yeah, I think definitely more sporadically. I think like I definitely write more when I'm like going through something hard. Um and I have time. Like I find it really hard to write when I'm not one of those people that can like just like write a song like in between like in a night when they've got a night off. Like I need almost like to know that I've got like a week off and then like I might start like writing a song. I'm like it takes me a while. I think my brother's the same. um yeah, I wrote quite a lot of songs in lockdown. After we made our record, before we released it, me and Jack moved to our parents' house in Cornwall and we just went surfing every day and wrote music and chilled out and had some time off. And I wrote quite a lot of songs down there, but I'd just broken up with my boyfriend, so I was kind of full of stuff. That's what you can always rely on, a good bit of heartache for.
Oh, man, tell me about that. I personally have a huge playlist called Sad Boy Hours on my Spotify. So, I
Sad boy
occasionally
hours.
it is, but
Yeah,
with the
you need to
boy,
send
it's
me that shit.
BOI. It's BOI on it. So
Uh, do you follow the Instagram page Beat Me Up Soft Boy?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's a British thing, really. It's like, nah, it's definitely not. It's like, do you know what a soft boy is?
I can't say I do, but
It's
if
kind
you're
of
willing
like
to,
it's kind of like a boy that's a guy that's like into alternative music, like loves the Smiths and Bob Dylan, and like is like super romantic, but probably quite problematic, and probably will fuck you out. It's like a fuck boy, but
no,
like
yeah, yeah.
but into Radiohead.
It's kind of like it's kind of like one of those people that'll say, "I'm gonna turn you up to some music you've never heard," and puts a Mac DeMarco or Tame Impala on the radio.
You've nailed it. You've nailed it. Kind of a little bit patronizing to women,
Yeah,
and like wears like, like fucking a fisherman's flat cap and a flannel sort of thing.
and don't forget the Vans. I mean, don't nothing wrong with Vans, right? But
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
yeah. So here's a hard question I'm gonna give you.
Okay,
Get ready, okay?
all right.
If so, you made all this music and everything. In fact, I think you just had a remix for Ice Gems that came out
Mm.
last week. Which, by the way, fucking banger. If I see some myself again, you guys did it again.
Thank you, man. That was
Um,
made by Joe Goddard from Hot Chip. He made that remix, which is really fucking cool.
awesome. So my question to you is now: you have to, your songs are like your kids. You've made everyone, to you, you've tailored it to you guys. But my question is, if you can only pick three out of your whole discography, and whether it be current albums you have, or if you want to tease me and the audience, you want to tell us more than newer songs, it's totally your call. So I'll
Oh
leave that
my
up to
God,
you.
what am I picking them for? Like three of
Just
my favorite ones.
three of your favorite personal favorites.
Oh, um that's such a cute question. Um well, I mean, I'm not talking like personal from like ones just of me. I'll just like Penelope Isles ones, so like Jack's as well. Um I love the song Terrified, it's one of Jack's ones. I think I love playing that tune. It's proper feel. When I first heard it, I like rinsed it. I love playing it live as well. I uh, hmm, I reckon Gnawbone from our first record, which is like a super long krautrocky tune that we haven't played for a while because of the sort of switch up in the band, but I love playing that one live as well. And yeah, I think I love the tune Ice Gems. We haven't actually got that down yet as a band, but like we will do. And I think yeah, I'm pretty proud of that song. So I reckon those
Right.
three.
I'm telling you, I can. I was like, even like when again, I was listening to the whole discography. What I do is, I'm a research student as well, so I go ahead and when I'm doing my research, um, it gets boring at times, quite honestly. And I know my research professor was here actually last week talking to me on this on the here. So if you're listening, I'm sorry, but sometimes when I'm doing it, I get a little bit like it gets a little bit repetitive, I guess.
He
Just doing
probably
the
finds it boring as well.
well, either way, so I'm there. I'm like, I have to keep myself entertained. So either it be podcast or anything. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to the albums whole and listen to them. So I said, you know what? And I was still on the high, which I'm still on the high of Penelope Isles. But I'm like, let me go ahead and listen to more. And I listened to it, and it was just like I'm just jamming out. I felt like it was, I think, collectively about an hour and a half to almost 2 hours of listening to Penelope Isles, and I totally lost track of time, and I was just working on the document, so it went really well. I know I keep pushing it and like, oh my god, yes, but if for people who
Oh.
haven't listened to them, to you guys, it's just so it's something you're missing out on, and I feel bad for the people who aren't, listening because it's like this is something that you can like literally bop to, and I think it's really awesome because since I live in South Texas, I don't know if you know where South Padres Island's at. It's super South Texas. It's probably one of the more big. It's the biggest beach venue, called Clayton's, I think, in Texas,
Mm.
and besides the point, the whole South Padre thing is you can literally blast your music at the beach, just jamming out. And I feel like that's something I'm gonna end up doing when I go back home for the summer.
Oh.
I'm gonna do that, and everyone's gonna be like, "Josh, what are you playing?" I'm playing, but I'm playing Penelope Isles, and just put
Oh.
my sunglasses down, just drive off and everything.
Fuck yeah, man. Absolute represent. Love it.
So for you right now, what are you listening to? What's on repeat for you? What's something that you bop in your head to from here on?
Well, I actually like was listening today to a band that I love from New York called Cowbells,
Hmm.
who are really cool. Um, I think they're all female. I might have to double check on the pronouns, but and they're really sort of like inspiring me for my solo project, Cookie Loo, which I've got plans for next year, I think. Um, so yeah, Cowbells, they released a new record. They've got a couple of albums out, and they're just like this colorful, like weird, like fun, kind of feel good, soft band that I'm really digging at the moment. Um, and there's another cool band called Helvetia. Helvetia.
Hmm.
Um, is it Helvetia or Helvetica? I think it's Helvetia. I'm just gonna check that right
No,
now.
you're good. You're good.
And they're really, really cool. And they've got a really super like cool, like crunchy DIY, like tapey sort of like sound, which is really right up our street. Hell yeah, Helvetia, they're really great, man. So yeah, those two bands I would recommend to everyone. Cowbells, Kalbells, and Helvetia, like the font, but not Vetica, via Velvetia. I'm not doing a good job of this, but yeah.
And for you, I guess it's something for me to ask. But I mean, I'm just gonna throw out some bands that I listen to, and perhaps maybe you have. But other bands I listen to, which I highly recommend, besides yours, is I actually the same kind of idea with your band was I heard Just Mustard. I don't know if you've known of them.
No, never
Um,
heard of
they're
them.
from
I
the
think
they're
I've
from
heard of them
Ireland.
actually. Yeah.
They're from Ireland. Really fun too. That one's good. Um, but yeah, though, I'm honestly beginning my whole British phase now. I kind of honestly don't like American music as much anymore because it's so like it's either you're the old school like 80s 90s thing,
Yeah.
or now you're getting into like very boring music. And I mean, I
Oh
know I shouldn't be
man.
saying that, but now with me, it's like I'm doing more research on my music and I'm realizing that all of my music, like I'm currently, again, it's you guys, it's the Idols I'm listening to, it's Just Mustard. It's like
Nice.
all of these bands are from the UK, they're from overseas.
Yeah.
And
You should check out Katie J. Pearson. You should check out Last Living Cannibal. Um, who else? You should check out Holiday Ghosts, who are like
hmm,
best friends of ours, and they're fucking so rad, that band. And you should check out Ditz, Ditz. Those four
hmm,
bands are like all good friends and really just like so deserved to be listened to. And I think if you're into like good tunes, good music, those four
yeah.
bands you'll love. You won't regret checking them out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go ahead and for sure check them out. So we're already nearing towards the end, but before we go on, before we kind of close everything off, uh, is there any projects you wanna share with us, Penelope Isles, that you guys have in store for us later?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we are gonna be making album three, hopefully the end of this year. I think we were talking about going off and hiring a little cottage down in Cornwall and going surfing every morning and making an album that we love. We've got loads of new songs all ready to go, and we're looking for a couple of good support slots next year. We want to go on tour with another band a bit bigger than us. We want to do one around America and one around the UK. So any bands out there that is listening and want to take four hardworking kids on the road, then get in touch.
There you go. There you go. So I'm eagerly waiting. I mean, again, yeah, I mean, I keep saying it over and over and over, and I'm probably getting some repetitive, but trust me now, I'll be the first one to buy the tickets when it goes on sale. So you will see me there
Oh,
for
mate,
sure.
don't be buying any tickets. You're our guest.
Oh my God. So you're already getting me all like, oh my God, and everything, right? Making me blush already, or it's so early in the morning. It's 11:02
That's
here,
true.
and
Well, it's
but
5 o'clock somewhere.
right there you go. Wait, it's 5 o'clock where you are, right? Right? I believe so.
It's true.
5:02.
Happy
So
hour. Let's go to the pub.
there you go. So um, I guess kind of in closing, if you can look back at your younger self, what words of advice would you give yourself, perhaps?
I would probably say, like, you don't need to go in the sea in a t-shirt, you know? Take your fucking t-shirt off and run into the sea and don't give a fuck about what your body looks like and have fun and live your life and kiss people and be happy and say yes to stuff.
There you go. Well, Lily, thank you so much for joining us today. I will talk to you after this interview is over, but in the meantime, I want to, like I said, thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for joining us here. It's an honor to have you here. It's
Oh,
something
you're so
that
sweet, Josh, man. Thank you for doing this show and being such a diamond. And I'm sure we will meet like one day in real
thank you
life.
so yeah,
And
it'd be amazing. I think like I said, for people who haven't listened to Penelope Isles, you're missing out on an amazing project. Something that I think No, it's not something I think. Something I know will pop off for sure. Just keep your head on straight, and I promise you, it's gonna be really rewarding. I know
thank
that I saw the hard work that went into it. Especially, I know Jack isn't here, but I saw the hard work he put into this too, alongside you, and I feel like
you.
it's something that hard work always pays off, and it will be seen. And when you get, like I
Oh,
said, I had the privilege of seeing you guys at South by. I know a lot of people don't have that privilege of going to South by, especially coming to Austin. But um, it's an interesting thing that people like you just care so much and wanted to come by. And like I said, I
yeah.
know I can't thank you enough for just stopping by and chilling out here. So, but yeah, anything you want to plug in, anything you want to plug, you want to plug in some merch, any some new stuff, anything like that.
What is probably something that I'm like that my manager's gonna have a go at me at for not remembering. But I mean, I've got a new record out. Well, it's not so new anymore. It's came out in November. It's called Which Way to Happy. And it's hard releasing a record in COVID. People seem to, it's hard to people seem to not want to buy tickets for stuff anymore, buy records and all that stuff. So I guess I just generally just plugging my new album here. And yeah, www.penelopeisles.com. Big up.
There you go.
Tickets on sale now in UK and Europe.
And you're touring tomorrow again. So like you mentioned, today's your chill day, and then tomorrow you're off again to tour again. So
Yeah.
uh, we wish you the best of luck here. I think that's something that
Oh,
again that you do fine. Again,
thanks,
a
man.
lot more people are going to be enjoying it just the way I did. So hopefully you have a good tour, and we
Nice one,
will,
dude.
on behalf of St. Ed's, thank you so much once again.
Oh, thanks for having me. Hope everyone has a lovely day.
Thank you, and
Bye.
we're off.